I'm Dr. Laura Holmes, and I am an assistant professor of New Testament at Seattle Pacific University. One of the things that excites me about teaching the Gospel of Mark, or working on it in this Lectio, is that it provides us a way in which we can encounter Jesus. Each of the Gospels do this, and so part of what makes Mark unique and also challenging is some of the ways in which he describes Jesus. And this is actually something that the church has struggled with. It's actually true that about 90% of the Gospel of Mark is in the Gospel of Matthew. And so this kind of makes us wonder, like, why Mark? Why didn't Mark just get replaced by Matthew? And I think the answer is that there's a lot in Mark that contributes to an understanding of who Jesus is and what it means to follow him. We also see throughout Mark this tendency towards secrecy. And this is what puzzles a lot of readers of Mark, because Jesus tells people not to tell things that he does, and it's weird. And yet, throughout Mark, there's also revelation that takes place. And so I think as we read Mark through the Lectio, make sure every time you see something that is secretive or silenced, that you also look for revelation, because it's going to be there too. Mark holds these opposite things together. Mark's story is meant to be read as a whole, from the beginning of the gospel in verse 1 to the empty tomb and the ascension at the end. But there's a big picture here, and we need to see it all together, piece by piece. Mark's gospel invites us to encounter Jesus in a new way, in a unique way. And I think we see this in Mark's pairings of opposites. We encounter Jesus both proclaiming the good news and keeping secrets. And we encounter Jesus both encouraging some bumbling disciples that encourage us when we don't understand, but also challenging us to faithfulness through people who put their own life on the line for the sake of others. And in fact, that's what we see Jesus doing as he gives his own life as a ransom for many. And so in this gospel, we get a picture of God's love for us and for the world. And that makes it really worth reading.